I think one of the most dangerous things about things like engagement-based ranking, so that's the idea of prioritizing content based on its likelihood of provoking a reaction, is it is much easier to inspire someone to hate than it is to compassion or empathy.
My name is Frances Haugen. I used to work at Facebook and joined the company because I believe Facebook has the potential to bring out the best in us. But I am here today because I believe that Facebook's products harm children, stoke division, weaken our democracy, and much more.
When I was in high school, I joined the debate team because I had this vision when I was 14 that I wanted to go to MIT. And I was told that you needed to be well-rounded. And so I joined debate. And I ended up really liking debate. And I did it for 4 years. I ended up in the top 25 in the country by my senior year. But I also coached debate in college for 4 years in Massachusetts. That was incredibly impactful because in debate, you have a very limited amount of time to communicate, and you need ideas to stick.
Specifically on the debate thing, how do you think it's informed your whistleblower practice?
Oh yeah, actually, that's a great question. So a lot of people are shocked at kind of the breadth of what I was able to get out of the company. And like there's little things that I think people don't necessarily appreciate, which is like, how do you even organize that information as you do it, right? And I remember as I was going through the process and like organizing my folders, I was like, wow, this is just like debate camp. Like you have all your folders with like your ideas and like you have to have an idea of how will I organize this. And so it's one of those things where I think when I was 16 and doing that, I had no idea that it would be useful in this way in the future. During lockdown, I went and lived with my parents. I was learning all these horrific things about Facebook. And it was really tearing me up inside. And I think a thing that really hurts most whistleblowers is whistleblowers live with secrets that impact the lives of other people. And they feel like they have no way of resolving them, right? And so instead of being destroyed by learning these things, I got to talk to my mother, and my mother is a priest. And so if you're having a crisis of conscience where you're trying to learn, figure out a path that you can live with, having someone you can agonize to over and over and over again is like the ultimate amenity. You know, my moment where I decided I had to do something was when they dissolved civic integrity. And I didn't know how I would do it yet. Like I had to think for a long time on how to do it in the right way. But it meant that when that moment happened, I was actually in a pretty good place, right? Like I wasn't in a place of crisis like many whistleblowers are. And so I think that gave me a better platform in order to think rationally and not emotionally. I raised a lot of concerns in the first 3 months, and I was always like, my concerns were always discounted by my manager, by other people who had been at the company for longer. Like, for example, the researchers. I feel so bad for the researchers who worked on civic integrity because many of them have been doing it for a number of years. They're people who cared passionately about these topics like ethnic violence. And I can't imagine learning, like helping to develop and learning about solutions and having them shot down over and over again. Yeah, it was very frustrating. I didn't feel like there was a will to act. So we got to do international misinfo for 3 months. The 3 months that my team, which is all brand new to the company, like we're all new. We didn't have anyone to help us learn any of these systems, which I flagged for my manager was a disastrous idea. So we got to spend 3 months on international misinfo. And then we got shifted back into the US because they did a lockdown for the US 2020 election. And then we were just doing narrowcasting from that point on. So we're in this really interesting moment where, you know, both the UK and Europe have faced larger safety problems than the United States has, because Facebook has overwhelmingly spent on safety in the United States because they're afraid of being regulated. I think both Europe and the UK are a little bit further along in thinking about what they want in laws because they've faced worse harms. And so right now we're on the verge of passing either the Online Safety Act or the Digital Services Act, be it in the UK or the EU. And so my goal was to support lawmakers as they think through these issues and answer any questions they have. I hope the thing they take from my disclosures is the idea that, any system that is this influential in our lives needs to have mandated transparency, because the sheer magnitude of issues where we've demonstrated that they're lying shows that any company that has this much control over how we think, how we consume our information, has to have accountability.